In this video, we'll cover the process of buying a business and the reasons for doing it. So to start with, why we even want to buy a business? Well, $10 trillion will change hands over the next decade. From baby boomers that are looking to retire, now their kids don't want to inherit those businesses because they want to start the next Uber or Airbnb technology company. So there's a massive opportunity to buy businesses pennies on the dollars because they are super motivated to sell their businesses before they retire. But then you might be asking, what are the benefits of acquiring a business over starting one from scratch? Or trying to grow a business organically, one client at a time? Well, there are a few things. So to start with, when you buy a business, you buy it with existing established operations. You go into a business, they already have a happy customer base. They already have team members that know how to work with each other. We all know how difficult it is to hire, train, retain good people, right? So with buying existing companies, we skip all of those struggles. When you buy companies, you get yourself into proven revenue streams, right? You can grow by years worth of sales in the day you buy in a business. It takes years to grow revenues of companies. You can go out there to companies that already do the numbers that you want to do. And you can use other people's money and asset-based financing to buy those businesses. Think about it. If you buy a business doing, let's say, 2 million a year, how long in comparison would it take you to grow by 2 million organically, one client at a time? All the marketing efforts, all the advertising efforts, all the market and research development efforts on things that might or might not work. In an acquisition, the day you were doing an acquisition, you basically bought yourself 2 million extra revenues if the business is doing 2 million in revenues. You got yourself into existing infrastructure. You get yourself into proven processes. From day one, you buy a business that already have a product market fit, so there are happy customers around that business. Instead of trying to get there from scratch or testing new products or ideas you have in your business. It's also the best way I found to become an owner investor versus an owner doer or operator. And you can get great returns as a capital allocator or investor compared to, let's say, the stock market or real estate, because you're so much more in control in here, and the upside is asymmetric. And it's the best way to get out of the entrepreneur roller coaster or any plateau that you might have as a business owner, or breakpoints that you get in the business that 99% of entrepreneurs hit at some point in their journeys, unless they start to grow by acquisitions. So it's the idea of growing one company at a time versus just one client at a time. To understand the potential of acquisitions, you need to understand what we call valuation curve. It's basically the idea that if you stay by yourself as a small company, then your company is most likely worth 2, 3, maybe 5 times multiples of your profits, right? That would be the value of your business right now. But as the company goes bigger, it can be worth 7, up to 10, or even 20 times in the public markets, just by being a larger company. And obviously, I'm super simplifying it right now, but it's to clarify the fact that growth is important. And it's very hard to do it organically with just sales and more marketing. Think about it this way, 1 million profit company might be worth 3 million, right? Depends on the sector, of course, depends on the quality of revenues and clients and whatnot. But a company in comparison, let's say doing 10 million profits, can be worth 70 to 200 million, just because it's bigger and more professionalized. And basically it's less risky or seen as less risky for investors or a potential future buyer. There are massive companies out there like WPP or XPO. You might or might have not heard about them, but for example, WPP is a massive marketing agency that is basically a holding group for thousands of small marketing agencies. XPO is a holding company in the trucking space that basically owns thousands of small trucking companies, like the one actually my buddy Borislav, we helped bought a business that's now doing 13 million a year in revenues. And he bought that business using other people's money, none of his own cash, to grow by 13 million in revenues. The guy used to be a truck driver, he now owns a 13 million revenues trucking company. Imagine if he basically bought hundreds of those businesses in the next few years in the same sector. There's no reason for him not to become a company competing with XPO. And instead of being valued at 2, 3, 4 times multiples of his profits, it can be valued at 10, 20 times multiples of his profits. Again, very difficult to achieve that growth without acquisitions. There's a reason that the biggest companies are growing by buying other companies. That Google is buying YouTube, that Facebook is buying WhatsApp and Instagram. So that's the beauty of the valuation curve. That's also how I helped one of my friends with a company that is now traded on Nasdaq. And the valuation on his company is at least 5 times more than the same company would receive in the private sector. And if it was just a bit smaller. because they went out there, they did the right acquisitions and the right integration between companies, and were able to grow very fast from 0 to 100 million in revenues in less than 3 years. To achieve those numbers of growth organically, growing one client at a time or starting a business from scratch and achieving product market fit is almost impossible. That's why 99% of startups fail, because hiring team members, figuring out new products is very difficult. So the process of buying a business, in a nutshell, the process is very simple. Easier said than done, of course, but just to give you an overview on the process, the first step, you need to go out there and do research and find great deals, right? You need to find great companies, ideally with people who are motivated to sell their business, so you're not paying premium. The second step is you need to analyze the deal and make sure that the deal is a good deal, right? So hopefully you have a good positioning, so the seller or the broker is taking you seriously. Then you look at the deal, you need to understand what is a good deal. The third step would be to then find financing and deal structures, right? So how do you finance the acquisition? You don't necessarily need to put your money or all of your money. There are a lot of ways to finance deals. The fourth step would be diligence and closing the deal. And the fifth step would be all about transitioning from the previous owner and making sure that you're at least sustaining the profitability of the business you just bought. Because we don't want to buy distressed companies. We want to buy companies that are making money. There are a lot of pillars involved in each of those steps, of course, and that's what we'll do and go through in the next videos. So for now, just realize the opportunity for you to buy an existing business or grow your existing business by acquisition and dominate your market that way. Because you can buy your competitors, you can buy complementary businesses, you can buy businesses in sectors you want to be part of. And remember that in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll have more opportunities than all of us had or will have in our lifetime when it comes to buying businesses. So I think that at least it will be a good idea for you to learn how to make the most out of this opportunity.